For this week's report, the Tree Committee and Lincoln Street School held a tree planting ceremony. An Exeter resident is honored for his dedication to the Gulf of Maine watershed. The Historic Raynes Barn is getting important renovations. Exeter Community Power is projected to save residents $1.2 million in the first 3 months. Information on DigSafe, and a reminder about the rescheduled Exeter Arts Music Festival. For Exeter TV, I'm Bob Glowacki, and this is the Exeter Biweekly Report. Let's get started. The Exeter Tree Committee hosted a tree planting ceremony at the Lincoln Street School this past Wednesday. Will Tapley and Gabe Perez went over to check it out and learn why it's important to celebrate trees.
For this year's celebration of Arbor Day, students of Lincoln Street Elementary School embarked on a hands-on learning journey by planting 2 new trees on their school grounds. The event kicked off with the students showcasing their favorite tree-themed poetry, facts, and drawings.
Some have been granted the wish of life. Trees around the world, told they don't matter.
Delicately the willow blooms, and pines rehearse new speeches.
Widdershins turned eye sing it low, watching the wild birds come and go.
Following that, Select Board member Dan Chartrand read an Arbor Day proclamation from the board.
And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife.
Now it was time for planting. The students got down to business, shoveling soil, playing in the mud, and learning valuable lessons on how to nurture a tree. We took a moment to speak with the students. We asked about their love of trees, their feelings on playing in mud, and their suggestions on what to name their 2 new tree friends.
This event is important because it shows how much the council cares about our environment, and we love doing fun projects like this to help the environment. And this event it's something fun to help our community because last year we had to cut down a tree because it got struck by something, lightning or thing. So we lost a tree in our community, so now we have 2 new ones. Which is great for the community.
Trees are really important for oxygen because otherwise we can't breathe. And like unless we want to go turn into, I don't know, the Lorax movie, Pay for Air, sure, get rid of all the trees. No, we need trees. Like, it's really good to have trees.
Well, I feel like they're really important for that, yes, and to get muddy.
That's also why we need, of course.
It makes oxygen, which makes water. Wait, does oxygen make water? No, it doesn't.
Okay, thanks. Trees, I like that they give me air. They also give me paper, and I like to draw. And they're also colorful in the fall.
I like planting trees. I think that it's a fun activity for everyone where we can get our hands a little dirty and help the environment. And they give like homes to like all sorts of animals, like birds, and trees also help us live and breathe because it like cleans the air.
If it's for something like this, like planting trees, sure, I'll go right ahead. Playing in mud piles randomly, no.
So, I'm kind of the opposite of him. Working for school projects like that with mud, I will do it if I have to. But then if I just see a mud pile, don't mind me just running and jumping in it. Yeah. That's literally what I do when I see a mud pile.
Give me some good names for trees.
The amazing tree.
That's amazing.
I don't know about that. This cool tree.
Whoa, that's pretty good.
Bob and Brittany.
To better understand the behind-the-scenes efforts, we spoke to Eileen Flockhart, chair of the Exeter Tree Committee.
Tree City, New Hampshire, USA provided the trees Public Works guys dug the hole for us for both trees. These two trees are going to try to replace a mighty oak.
The two new arboreal additions to the Lincoln Street school grounds will serve as a reminder of the students' commitment to the environment and the knowledge they've gained on this special Arbor Day celebration.
The town of Exeter and much of New England runs on volunteers that serve in local government. One Exeter resident was recently honored for his decades of service and positive impact. Longtime resident and former Select Board member Don Clement has been selected by the Gulf of Maine Council on the Maritime Environment to receive the Longard Volunteer Award. The award recognizes an outstanding volunteer with the Gulf of Maine watershed who has made significant contributions to conserving or managing the Gulf's resources. Teresa Walker, consulting planner for the Rockingham Planning Commission, nominated Mr. Clement for the award after working with him for decades on various projects on the local River Advisory Committee.
With his leadership at the Select Board level, the Conservation Commission, the local advisory committee, and his volunteer work, a lot of things that people don't see him for on cable access television, every week. He has been a volunteer river quality monitor. He just works behind the scenes, I think, very quietly, always thinking for what is the best action we can take to protect the Exeter Swampscott River.
Through his time on the Select Board and other committees, Don Clement was involved in many projects having a positive impact for the town and the watershed. Some of these projects include the Great Dam removal process, improving water quality through upgrades to Exeter's wastewater treatment plant, and many land conservation projects. When asked about receiving the award, Don was very humbled and talked about his favorite part about volunteering for the town.
The thing that I enjoyed the most was that the people I work with in Exeter were just phenomenal, who understood and pushed for environmental improvements, and they still do today. I think I found, as I talked to different people in different municipalities, that Exeter was really kind of in the lead, and we still are.
Local communities require volunteers to serve on their many boards and committees to keep their basic government operations running smoothly. Volunteers such as Mr. Clement demonstrate the importance of this volunteer work, as Town Manager Russ Dean explains.
Volunteers are the essence and one of the key components of town government. Town government just does not run as smoothly without qualified volunteers that serve in different capacities on different town boards and committees and commissions. In a form of government like we have in Exeter, SB2, it is particularly important because you have a lot of boards and committees and commissions that are responsible for putting forward not just ideas but actions. And again, it's very, very important that people find the time to volunteer and want to step up. So in that capacity, Don has been everything and more.
Yeah, get involved. I mean, you can do as little as you want. Just if you just do a little by everybody goes a long way. And I think when you get involved and you're passionate, you're going to enjoy it. Not only you're going to make a difference, but you're going to enjoy what you do. And I encourage people to do what I did.
The Historic Raynes Barn is getting much needed renovations after a years-long effort to attain funding. We took a trip out to the farm and spoke to the Conservation and Sustainability Planner, Kristen Murphy, to learn more about the restoration project.
Our end goal is to ensure that this remains a community asset in perpetuity. This barn and farmland was a part of the original town landing. It's about a 50-acre property in town off of Newfields Road. The town of Exeter acquired this property in the early 2000s, and the purpose was to not only protect this very important natural ecosystem, but also because the property contains some significant historical features for our town. People would drive cattle from all over the northeast to this property. Cattle would be allowed to rest here, and then they'd be put on barges and sent out to the Swampscott River, all the way to Boston for the Brighton cattle markets. We've made significant repairs since acquisition, it had deteriorated to the point where we needed to really make a financial investment. And so we approached the town voters for some funding, $100,000. The Conservation Commission contributed $50,000, and we applied for a grant from LCHIP, or the Land Community Heritage Investment Program, for $100,000. So we had about $250,000 to conduct repairs on the barn. COVID had a significant impact on the building trades, and so materials, they were a lot more expensive. Costs went up substantially by $75,000. So we did have to alter and scale back the project a little bit. Our primary focus is to ensure the clapboards on the south and the east sides were addressed. They're also doing repairs to the windows and the doors, to the framing in the interior. Same with the foundation. Some work was done in the foundation to address some structural issues. They're ensuring all of these repairs do not impede the historical significance of the property. So once we have the repairs in place that we're talking about, primarily those related to structural integrity and to safety, we'll be able to open the barn up again for the public and hold things like stargazing or maybe open air painting. We could have films shown in the barn. Really, the possibilities are endless for how we can use this barn.
Exeter Community Power launched last month, and ratepayers in town are already seeing the benefits in their bills. We spoke to Lou Hitzroy of the Community Power Aggregation Committee to learn more about how the program rollout is going. In the first 3 months of the program, Exeter Community Power was projected to generate an estimated $2.2 million in value, including $1.27 million in customer savings and nearly $1 million in reserve funds, according to the Q1 projections put out by the Community Power Coalition of New Hampshire. We spoke to Lou Hitzroy of the Community Power Aggregation Committee, who stated that the projections are slightly higher than the recent reports coming in after the first few months of customers being rolled over.
These are projections. The actual rollout numbers, the number of participants, is somewhat smaller than the projections. A little under 7,000 Exeter residents and businesses are enrolled. The report suggests 7,700, so the report is about a 10% greater than is in reality. So one would guess that both the savings numbers and the reserve fund numbers are probably somewhat lower, maybe by 10%. Even so, they're pretty remarkable. After 3 months, we're talking about close to $1 million in the reserve fund and over $1 million that stays to Exeter residents, or Exeter customers, I should say.
The customer savings was due in great part to the member community's ability, through the Community Power Coalition, to attain lower energy rates than their default suppliers, who are for the most part locked into 6-month purchase agreements with suppliers. The reserve funds being built up in Exeter and other member communities will help stabilize rates in the long run and be available for local renewable energy or other infrastructure projects. Another lesser-known part about the Community Power program is the ability to opt up. Through CPSC&H, Exeter Community Power is offering 4 different energy supply options. These range from the default supply of 23.4% renewable energy to plans with 33, 50, and 100% renewable energy supply options. These opt-up plans offer residents in Exeter a small way that they can help the community go green, as Exeter resident Joe Wolfson explains.
We've been looking at putting solar panels on our roof, haven't done it for a variety of reasons, and this looked like an easy opportunity to do maybe not quite the same thing, but less expensive than $20,000. And then the question is, what plan do you want? And I would say everybody would make their own choice, whether they want the least expensive plan, which looks the same as what Unitil is doing in terms of where they're getting the energy, or move up to 33% or 50% or 100%. And we just decided, let's do 100%. We can always switch to something else if we feel it's burdensome, but I don't think it is. So it's interesting. Once we said we were going to do it, one of my friends who says, well, I don't care at this point, I'll go with the cheapest one. But in fact, he didn't. He ended up going with 50%. So just knowing that some people are going to do it, other people may say, okay, I don't want to go to 100%, too expensive, but I'll do 50. Whatever it is, it's a benefit.
If you aren't sure if you have Exeter Community Power as your supplier or are interested in opting up to a plan with more renewables, you can contact CPCNH at 1-866-603-POWER or visit communitypowernh.gov/Exeter for more information. Up next, we have a quick public service announcement regarding the Dig Safe program.
So, you're putting a fence up in your yard.
Roger.
It can be dangerous and expensive to damage a utility that may be buried just below the surface of your lawn. Whether you hire a pro or do the digging yourself, you need to call DigSafe at 811. DigSafe will notify participating utility companies to mark out their underground lines so you can dig safely. For more information, go to digsafe.com or call 811. DigSafe. It's smart, it's free, and it's the law.
To wrap up the report, we have one final reminder about the rescheduled Exeter Arts Music Festival sponsored by Team. The event kicks off tomorrow morning, and Will Tapley has all of the info you need to know.
Historically taking place in Swayze Parkway, there are a few changes this year due to the ongoing sewer siphon project blocking part of the parkway. Delicious food, fun music, and kids' activities are shifting from the parkway to Townhouse Common, located at the corner of Front, Court, and Bow Streets, right up the road from the town hall. Bands on the main stage include Tim Parent and the Grimm Bros, Marcus Robb Quartet, Woodwind and Whiskey, and Cold Engines. A wide variety of artist vendors will be at the Water Street entrance of Swayze Parkway, as well as tasty treats from Kona Ice, Healthy Nut Snacks, and Daniela's Dandles. For more information about the festival, visit teamexeter.com or find them on Facebook and Instagram at Town Exeter Arts Music.
That does it for this week's report, but before we go, we wanted to show you this amazing photo captured by Ann Deenan showing an osprey perched atop Lady Justice on the top of Town Hall. We've certainly been enjoying all of the wildlife sightings around town over the past few weeks. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to help us spread the word. We'll be back on June 23rd for the next edition of the show. For Exeter TV, I'm Bob Glowacki, and this has been the Exeter Biweekly Report. Have a good weekend, Exeter.